Hi guys, and welcome back. I am back. It has been a long time, and I know what you're thinking, this room kind of looks familiar. Well, yeah, because it's the same room. And a long story short, pretty much due to reasons out of me and my partner's control, we were not able to move in the end. So yeah, that's just what it is. But anyway, today we're here to talk about music, new music, because while I was gone, just my luck, the floodgates opened up and all this new music dropped. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Lorna Shore, To Prevail, Between the Buried and Me. The list is endless. I couldn't do anything. I wasn't able to talk about it, didn't have the time, and just didn't have the resources because I was away from the computer. But you know what? Better late than never. I'm going to talk about it today. So pretty much I made a list here with my notes, and I'm just going to talk about like some of the releases that came out in the last month that I think are noteworthy. And I just want to talk about it because, you know, a lot came out. And you know what? A lot of this music is great. So, before I get started, I just want to ask you guys, what was your biggest release for the month of August? And if you want to jump around in this video, I'll be leaving timestamps below so you can jump between one album to the next and get my opinion on whichever one you want. But anyway, without wasting more time, give this video a like and we're going to jump right in. So, to kick this off, I gotta address the elephant in the room, one of the biggest releases that came out last month, and that is, of course, Lorna Shore with And I Return to Nothingness. This was highly anticipated. The world went insane when To the Hellfire came out. Rightfully so. I think it was a great track. I still think it had some issues. If you want to go see my full reaction for it, I'll leave a link somewhere. But I thought it was a pretty solid track, really well written. My only issue was, of course, the mix. It was crush. I thought the drums were so overpowering, and I just couldn't hear Will Ramus. The new guy, Will Ramus. Come on. But anyway, now we had the full EP to listen through. I was able to listen through it quite a few times because there's only 3 tracks. Really impressed. I think their writing has improved a lot. I wouldn't say it's like gone to the moon since Immortal. I would say it's more pushed by like a couple of like percentages here and there. The best way I can describe this EP is kind of like, imagine like you have the video game, Immortal, like a full-blown video game. And then And I Return to Nothingness is more like a DLC pack added onto Immortal. It has some new content, and it even has a new character by the name of Will Ramus. But in my opinion, I didn't see it as being like a huge departure from their sound. And it makes sense to me because if you have a new vocalist on the album, it would be a bad move to try and, you know, reinvent your band's sound, because then your new vocalist is going to struggle to, you know, find a place to fit in with that music. So the way I saw it is this EP is kind of like a nice foundation, a stage, if you will, for Will Ramus to sort of show his chops and to show that he can fit with the band, you know, work with them. So in that sense, I think it's a really cool sort of calling card for Will Ramus to show off his skills. And with that, I think the next release is going to be a lot more dynamic, a lot more out there, a lot more experimental, because let's be honest, I think most people would approve of Will Ramus and the band's sound. And with that, I'll be giving it a 7 out of 10. Still think the mix could be improved upon, but that's just me. And if the band want to continue with this sound, well, it's the band's decision and I'm not going to fight against it. And next, we're going to talk about another humongous release. In fact, it was so big, it topped as the #1 streamed deathcore band on Spotify, and that is To Prevail with their album called Costulum. I don't know what that means. Write down below what it translates to. Pretty much this was highly anticipated as well because last year we got the magnum opus of Demolisher, with everybody being up in arms, being so amazed. It had the lowest gutturals we've heard to date from Alex Terrible, and overall it was a fun track. It was groovy, it was heavy, it was everything. And then this year we had Baba Yaga, which actually expressed that the band could be more groovier and go down the more nu metal route, with Alex Terrible showing a bit more of a cleaner side to his vocals. Well, cleaner side, if you get what I mean. And it was really cool. It was over the top. It was Russian AF, and most people really enjoyed it. I love the aesthetic. I love how just batshit crazy it was, and it was overall just fun. And then we also had the other release, which I can't remember, but I did do a reaction for it, so I'll link somewhere there. It was just more of the same. And with the whole release out now, I was really impressed. I thought it was just front to back a great fun listen. One of the things I really enjoyed about it as well is the fact they incorporate the Russian language in the music, which in my opinion, if you're a band that has a very strong sort of culture and like language behind your stuff, you should definitely incorporate it in your music. It adds a different flair. It adds, you know, some culture to the people listening to it. And a lot of times it sounds cool. In the case of To Prevail, that Russian sounding language really lends well to the music that they're playing. It sounds beefy, it sounds tough, it sounds kind of scary as well. So I really enjoyed that. I think it was a good inclusion into the music. I think more bands should do that as well. A good example for me would be the band Opeth, who on their last album, they had a whole version of it in Swedish, which created a different vibe, and I generally think it lends to really making the band sound unique and different. So yes, I approve. The new metal stylings were cool, they were refreshing, and especially with the deathcore feel, it just sounded right. And Alex Terrible is constantly improving and constantly showing that he's more of a versatile vocalist than we give him credit for. So yeah, that was Slaughter to Prevail with Costalum, and I'll be giving that an 8 out of 10. Really loved it. Now we move into the prog metal scene, and let's be honest, you knew this was coming, and it is Between the Buried and Me. Prog metal titans. They've been there since 05 or 04. They've been in the game for a long fucking time. And they somehow, you know what? They just keep giving us the goods. Because with this album, Colors 2, it is probably going to be my favorite prog album for the year, as it is so dynamic. It's so Between the Buried and Me, so creative and so experimental. My favorite track is the Helix of Extinction, I think it's called. I'll leave a correction down here if I said it wrong. And I thought it was so fun. It was so out there. Once again, them being them, they really push the envelope when it comes to prog music and djent and all that good stuff. And this is the whole album, front to back. Loved every second of it. And if you're a prog head, you probably have already listened to the album, so you don't need me to tell you to listen to it. But if you haven't, go fucking listen to it. It's fucking amazing. But yeah, overall, really enjoyed it. Definitely gonna be my prog album for the year, unless something comes out of nowhere. And that's a 9 out of 10 for me. Loved it. And I think everybody should go check it out. It's Between the Buried and Me. Nihil. And the next thing we're looking at it is a single from the band River of Niles called Focus. So the single Clean came out, I think, about over a month ago now. Rivers being rivers, they gave us a very experimental look into the more technical side of death metal. Initially, when I heard Clean, I wasn't a huge fan, but over time it has grown on me and I approve of it now. Same as I can say for their latest single Focus, which is a lot slower, a lot more atmospheric. It's definitely a different listen to Clean as well as their older stuff, but I still found it very enjoyable. And like with Clean, it's one that grows on you, and if you give it that chance, you'll be surprised. And as such, it's made me really excited for the new album as well. We've been getting a lot of really cool experimental, progressive metal albums this year, and this is going to be in that category as well. So with that, I'll be giving Focus a 7 out of 10. It's not my favorite single to come out from them, but I still think it's a very solid track that's been done really well. Next is a band that unfortunately I never got around to making a video for, so here it is, guys, if you're watching, and it is the band Caskets and their new album Lost Souls. So this is metalcore in my opinion at its finest, and what's even cooler about it is that when I first listened to it, I thought I was listening to Bullet for My Valentine, because the frontman literally sounds like Matt. I can't describe it any other way. It's like with Phil Bozeman sounding a bit like Maynard James Keenan. But here, we got Matt. It's like a modern day interpretation of Bullet for My Valentine. It has all those like sort of iconic metalcore stylings, but cleaned up, modernized, and really fun. Definitely had its emotional side, it had its visceral side, it had its heavier side. And I definitely had a nostalgic feeling when listening to the whole thing. It definitely brought me back to the early 2010s, when all this music was like at its peak. But the thing that makes it stand out even more is that they opted to do it in like a very unique fashion. Overall, it was really fun. It was just really fun. It reminded me of Bullet for My Valentine, which was one of my favorite metalcore bands back in the day. And if you're a fan of that band as well, you're gonna love Caskets as well. And with that, I'll be giving them another 7 to 8 out of 10. Really enjoyed it. Going back to the more experimental side, we have the band Leprous. Now, if you know Leprous, you know that they're a very out there band. They push the envelope. They do not conform to the norm of what prog metal or djent is about. And in this album, they push it even further. They add in the classical elements. They add in a lot of like even jazzier, funkier moments as well. And as a result, when I was first listening to this album, I generally thought that, man, this band could be on like James Bond like intro, because like that music has got this like smooth classical vibe. And the operatic vocals of the frontman is just so on point, classically trained as he is, and he just gives an amazing performance. Everything sounds smooth, clean, all the orchestration sounds on point, and it just works so well together. Definitely not as like, you know, insanely proggy as their previous stuff, but this direction for them it's great. It's great as well. I don't see this being for everyone, but I generally think you should still give it a chance. If you're really into that proggy stuff, you're wanting something different in your prog metal, I would definitely recommend this one. So that was Leprous with their album Aphelion. I didn't say the album name, but yeah, Aphelion. So yeah, so go check that one out. And finally, we have a band that if you've been following this channel, you kind of saw this one coming, and you probably know who the band is. And that band is Vildhjarta. That's right, Thal at its finest. That's right, Vildhjarta. Giving us those technical, weird goddamn time signature shit that we all know them for so well. And over the month, they've dropped 2 new singles, Toxin and Chaos 2. And they've also dropped actually the new album cover. So excitement all around. I can't wait. The 2 new singles they dropped, more of the same. Technical, weird, fucking time signatures, eerie as hell with the atmosphere that's built up behind the music. And overall just powerful performances from Buster, Kale, Daniel as well, the whole band. I just can't wait. It's going to be one of my favorite of the year because, let's be honest, if you know me, I love my Thal. I love my goddamn Thal. And I don't got much to say about it because I'm just going to wait till the whole album comes out to, you know, talk about it properly. I'm probably going to do a review for it. Besides that, I'm going to be giving the singles so far, both of them, 8 out of 10. But anyway, those were my picks that I wanted to talk about that released in the past month. I wonder if any of those picks were your picks as well. We've had some great picks, and we've got some more great ones coming out in September as well, this month. So I'll try and get around to talking about them as well. But besides that, it is great to be back. My hope is to get regular videos up once again. I do apologize if it's a bit erratic at the start, you know, trying to get back into the rhythm of making videos will take maybe like a week or so. Besides that, thank you guys for waiting. Thank you guys for subscribing. And as I said, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like. And besides that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.